Now, I got this section of log from a friend of mine. He's going to cut a big old red oak log up. He's got a sawmill, but it just wouldn't fit on his mill. It's too big, so he cut the swelled end of it off. And of course I wound up with it. Now I'm fixing to bust me some shingles out of this thing. Roofing boards, or whatever you call it, from wherever you're from. Now for the last 40 years, I've busted thousands and thousands of them. Some of them I use for myself on my sheds and stuff around here, and most of them I sold. And I always liked doing it. It wasn't no chore. I got pleasure out of splitting boards. And but what I was going to talk to you, I won't make another film about making shingles, but I just noticed this here log. Now, the growth rings for one thing. Man, them daggum things are ½ inch wide. And that's sort of unusual. And it tells me that this old tree here growed in some pretty good soil and had plenty of water, and that was probably because it was on a creek bank somewhere, what I reckon. And the other unusual thing about this block is the growth rings that go around. They're all centered. They're not here in the center of the log is not in the center. It's down here. You got a lot more wood on here. And that tells me that log or that tree probably grew on a creek bank and on a slope, maybe against a steep hill or a mountain. And it had plenty of sun on one side and plenty of course, nutrients and stuff. And so it put on more wood to help hold itself. A tree will do that when it's growing on a slope, and to help steady it up. And now it might sound like trees are smart or something, or plants in general, that they can think or reason. Now, I can't tell you that for certain, because I really ain't smart enough to figure that out myself. And so I guess these old trees are smarter than me, but that ain't no big deal. Now, come to think of it, I do ponder on some things I've seen plants do. And it's some behavior that plants do that I've been amazed by. And one thing I was just thinking about the other day, it's getting close to Christmas time and New Year's and stuff. You know, old mistletoe grows on trees. They grow up real tall on the limbs, them old big trees. And they don't have no roots that reach the ground. They live right off the tree, sucking the nutrients and stuff that they need right out of that tree. And that seems pretty smart to me, too. And actually, I kind of wonder how long it took mistletoe to figure that out. Anyway, now I seen other smart plants. I remember back when I was a kid, we had a low pasture down there next to the swamp, kind of wet ground, and boy, it growed some of the biggest, finest blackberries you ever seen in your life. Big old juicy things. But it also grew the biggest stalks and the biggest briars on them too. And that was smart. Now, another thing that I always thought was kind of smart of a tree's part is they grow their limbs out over my fences into my pasture. And I guess there's, reaching for sun, or what my daddy used to say. And I wonder what told them to do that. And I wish they wouldn't, because they're going to knock my hat off and my old exhaust pipe off my old tractor every year when I'm trying to bush off the pastures. Now, I sometimes do a lot of pondering on things I run across every day, and a man should. And I thought a few more little old things here when I got to pondering on it. I noticed over the years that like maple trees, they grow little old wings on their seeds. And that's so that they be scattered by the wind, I reckon. And scatter them away from the mother tree more. Now, that's pretty smart. Now, other plants, they put their seeds in a fruit, like an apple or a persimmon or a grape or something like that. And I say people and critters tend to eat them and scatter the seeds, you know what I mean. And that's kind of smart. And another thing smart, you ought to, if you're a hunter, if you're out in the woods, you find you a persimmon tree, and if you ought to stay close to it, because whatever you're hunting is going to be by there sooner or later. Because I reckon everything likes persimmons. It's sort of like chicken. Now, well, I better get back to what I was talking about. Now, all you young folks out there, you ought to go outside every day and just sit down and turn off all your electronic gadgets. And there's just no telling how much you can learn by just sitting there observing on what's going on around you. And when knowledge comes to you like that, you don't never forget that. So heck, try it, and maybe you can be smart like these plants and trees. So keep your eyes out on how things seem to work so perfectly in this life. I just reckon there's a plan for everything in this old world. And I do believe that we'll find it out one day. Well, I'm Ted McCoy. Just prepare yourself to be amazed every day. And I do believe that'll do you good. Well, the next chore I got to do is figure out how to turn this damn block over. That's pretty heavy for an old man.